Our honorable chief guest, His Excellency Dr. Khalfan bin Saeed bin Mbarak al-Shairi, Minister of Housing and Urban Development. Your Excellency, Sheikh Salim bin Mustahil al-Mashani, Your Excellencies and distinguished guests, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. On behalf of United Media Services, we welcome you today to the Dossier Constructions Infrastructure Awards and Summit 2020, an exclusive construction, infrastructure, and real estate industry event. Before we start the proceedings, let's have a quick briefing from the Hotel Sheraton on the HSE norms to be followed during this evening.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Sheraton Oman Hotel. Following Ministry of Health and Marriott International safety guidelines, I am here to guide you through steps as following. Please make sure to wear masks all of the time. Avoid handshake and keep distancing while greeting. Wash hands every 20 minutes. If not available, please sanitize your hands with wet wipes or hand sanitizers that is placed on each table. Allow our chefs to assist you with serving while having a dinner. Thank you for your time and stay safe and healthy.
Thank you for the briefing. We also take this opportunity to thank our associate partner, Raisut Cement Company, support partners, Middle East Engineering Services, At-Tamman and As-Saud Global School, industry partners, Atkins, SNC, Lavalin, Renarde, and F&M Middle East, media partners, BusinessLiveME.com, Times of Oman and Ash-Shabiba, and light and sound partner Photo Center. Today's event is managed by UMS Events, the specialist events and conferences arm of United Media Services, UMS. This event is instituted by Dossier magazine, published by United Media Services, part of Muscat Overseas Group. Launched in 2007, Dossier is Oman's first business-to-business B2B publication on construction, infrastructure, real estate, and interior design sectors. Dossier launched the first edition in 2013, and this year marks the 8th edition of this event. The objective of Dossier Constructions Infrastructure Awards and Summit is to drive the exchange of knowledge and best practices within the industry and facilitate the best of the best within the construction, infrastructure, real estate, interiors, and construction materials industries. Before we start the proceedings, let's have a quick look at a short video on the journey of Dossier Constructions Infrastructure Awards and Summit. This evening, we have lined up a panel discussion and an award ceremony. The event is live streaming on YouTube, and you could follow the live updates on Twitter and Facebook also. We will start with a welcome address by Mr. Atulya Sharma, the CEO of United Media Services.
A very good evening, everyone. Foremost, very big thank you and a warm welcome to His Excellency Dr. Khalfan bin Said Al Shuaili, the Minister of Housing and Urban Planning. We are also grateful to His Excellency Sheikh Salim bin Mustahil Al Mashni for gracing today's event. And thank you all the corporate leaders and the high-profile distinguished guests that we have for the event today. I think I've got carried away with the pandemic scare, so I think you'll be able to hear me better with my mask off. Yeah, so this year, as we saw in the video, marks the 8th edition of the Dossier Construction and Infrastructure Awards and Summit. This event, obviously, as we saw in the video itself, focuses on the key areas of the economy, including real estate, infrastructure, industrial and civil projects, construction, building materials, and even design and engineering projects, and whatever regulatory environment and the industrial policies that go along with it. So all that is covered, all the new developments, all the trends, they are all covered as a part of this event. It's in its 8th year since inception, and the sort of support we've got from everybody, the community, the industry, we are really honored with that. And we thank all the sponsors who every year sort of support this event, and this wouldn't have been possible without their active support. Yes, this event basically focuses on all the key categories or the key domains that are the building blocks for the Oman economy. The nation building process cannot happen without all these things falling in place: infrastructure, construction, and real estate. They are absolutely integral to the growth of the country. We know that 2020 has been a rather challenging year for everybody, not just here in Oman, but all across the world. But having said that, there are a lot of positive developments that we see, especially in Oman, and we take a lot of encouragement from that. For one, the government has come out with a lot of policies to support the industry. There has been a lot of projects that have been announced and awarded, contracts and projects. And there is good news on the ongoing projects and developments that were happening with the projects that were already sort of allotted and were in process, either at the development stage or in the execution stage. And to substantiate what I'm saying, I can actually show you some of these relevant projects where we have seen a lot of traction. So we're talking about Khazain. The first phase of infrastructure works is over with them. Al Mauj, Muscat launched a new series of residential properties, and that got sold off within 48 hours. Raisut Cement is on really a lot of new things that are happening at Raisut Cement. Please. There are two desalination plants that are being set up. Sandan Development is doing something in Al Ashkara. Gulf Energy has won some oil field contracts worth over 1 billion from PDO. Gulfar Engineering has won a contract for 325 million. Al Hassan Engineering, 20. So this is not an exhaustive list. This is just illustration of the sort of positive things that are happening in the industry. If I did a back of the envelope calculation, this would amount to more than $3 billion. So that is very heartening to note in an environment when everybody is talking doom and gloom. And a lot of these contracts and the teams that are behind these contracts are present with us in this room. And I would please want to give them a warm round of applause for their... So it's really commendable that in these very difficult and trying times, they've been able to muster up as much as they have. And it's very heartening to note that the private sector and the public sector are working together to make this happen. Of course, we are very heartened with His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tariq's Vision 2040 statement and the Oman Spatial Framework strategy that has been set up as a part of it, that will sort of direct, organize, and implement the urban and rural infrastructure development in the country over the next 20 years. And that is absolutely essential for the sustainable development of the real estate and the construction and infrastructure progress of the country, because that is closely linked to the economic growth of the country. So yes, if we look at all these macro and micro trends, it looks very encouraging. It is very enthusing for the industry. But yes, let's not forget that we are not out of the woods. The road ahead still looks very daunting. And possibly what needs to be done is that everybody, of course, has to be resilient in these times. We need to transform and innovate. And more importantly, we need to collaborate. And I think events like this are a step in that direction, where people can network and actually put forth their ideas and see how they can collaborate on, delivering better. So I think we all would be looking forward to the panel discussion that will follow, which would cover in detail the opportunities and the threats that the sector is facing at this point, given the abnormal sort of circumstances. And we will also be felicitating companies, projects, initiatives, personalities, and industry leaders who have done commendable yeoman service in these very difficult times. So there will be awards that will be followed by the panel discussion. And I would like to just sum up to say that, in the medium to short term, investments in infrastructure development are absolutely essential to ensure that the country is growing. But in the long run, the investments that go into infrastructure development are what distinguish the developed countries from the developing ones. So it is absolutely essential that we continue this good work that Oman is doing on this front. And I would like to take credit for one thing. I made this full presentation without using the dreaded C word. And big pat on the back for me for that. I never use the C word at all in this whole presentation. But a bigger sort of pat on the back to Team UMS, who in spite of this dreaded C word, have ensured that we've been able to pull together an event of this magnitude. My congrats to the UMS events team, the UMS content team, the design team, and of course the client-facing team who made this all possible. So thank you very much, the UMS events team, and thank you to all the attendees for today's event. Thank you very much, and I hope you have an enjoyable and stimulating session ahead. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sharma. Now it's time for the panel discussion, and it will be focused on the subject challenges and opportunities in the changing economic environment. Let's invite our eminent panelists on stage. The first panelist is Mr. Hassan Muhammad Jum'a. He is an accomplished entrepreneur with over 2 decades of experience in real estate, construction, and facility management industry. He is the founder and the managing director of Al Usul Group, Atlantic Construction, Al Usul International Real Estate and Development, and Techno Solutions and General Trading Services, Cartex. He is also the chairman of Oman Real Estate Association and a member of Entrepreneurs Organization. Please welcome Mr. Hassan on stage. Our next panelist is Mr. Khalid Al-Bloushi, CEO of Khaza'in Economic City. He started his career with Ernst & Young's Dubai office. Following that, he joined Oman Investment Fund since inception, focusing on international investments and the private equity, alternative investments, real estate, and other asset classes. After that, he led the establishment and operation of investment department of Muscat National Development and Investment Company SS. Please welcome Mr. Khalid on stage. Our next panelist is Mr. Himanshu Mohapatra, Group General Manager Investments of Muscat Overseas Group. He has 2 decades of experience in investment banking, portfolio management, private equity, real estate development, strategic management, and organizational development. He has set up, acquired, and managed multiple new businesses and projects for the group in real estate, education, healthcare, industrial, aquaculture, media and communications, entertainment and hospitality sector. Previously, he worked with the Sovereign Wealth Fund in Oman and other leading financial institutions in India. Please welcome Mr. Himanshu on stage. Our next panelist is Mr. Fahad Al-Ismaili, the CEO of Tibyan Properties. He has a rich professional experience of over 17 years in diversified real estate investment and development projects, covering areas such as commercial and residential, local and ITC, tourism, leisure and hospitality, medical and healthcare developments, industrial plants and warehouse, and integrated petrol stations. He was also a board member of Umran Group and Oman Real Estate Association. Please welcome Mr. Fahad on stage. Our next panelist is Mr. Siddharth Rishi Satapati, Head Treasury, Raisut Cement Company. He is a senior finance professional with an experience of over 22 years in the markets, including GCC and India. Before Raisut, he worked with Oman Investment Fund, OIF, driving and executing financial and strategic operational processes, especially in private equity investment and mergers and acquisitions. At Raisut, his focus has been to grow the company into a 10 million ton entity by 2022. Please welcome Mr. Siddharth on stage. And now we we invite our moderator, Akshay Bhatnagar, Executive Vice President and Group Managing Editor of United Media Services. He has an experience of over 27 years in journalism and business events in the Middle East and India. At UMS, he is responsible for the strategic planning and operations of the content, live platforms, and special projects. Over to you, Akshay.
Very good evening to all of you. Hope all of you are enjoying coming back to a live physical event after attending a number of virtual conferences and webinars in the past, Did you miss the physical events? Sure. Okay, I'll come straight to the point. Before we start, if you feel you're not comfortable, you can remove the mask. We have enough social distancing. It's purely your call, We first start with Hassan. You have major business interests in the areas of real estate, construction, and facility management. Now, if you look back at the year 2020, what was the impact of the pandemic and the related economic challenges on your business?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. First of all, obviously, real estate has been a sector. It's one of the top 3 sectors which has been impacted by this pandemic in Oman. If you look at the number of the contribution of different sectors to the country GDP, if we compare the first 6 months of 2019 to the first six months of 2020, the top most impacted sector, of course, is the hospitality, which has noticed a 34% drop. And then followed by retail and food and beverage, which has dropped by 24.3%, and then tallied with the real estate, which also dropped by 24%. Now, obviously, these are the first 6 months, and we have to factor in the second quarter of the year and the partial or the first 6 weeks of the second quarter of the year. So it looks like the numbers might further increase. Obviously, the pandemic has impacted us in whether it's a construction, whether it's facilities management, F&B, all our sectors which we operate in. And we hope that with the vaccines coming in the market, in the overall by early next year, things might improve. But the real question now comes whether the markets really go back or there's a new normal which will be defined. Whether consumer behaviors will be changed, whether people's, because remember, for example, if we take facilities management, yes, maybe next year people will try to cut cost because they have to they have to sort of recover whatever losses they made previously. So there is a cost control, and that will have a big impact on the businesses. Margins will shrink, competition will increase. It's again will continue to be a cash flow game. Whoever is able to have a sustainable cash flow. Interest rates are again high, so the opportunity cost of the funds is very high. So to just summarize what I'm going to say, yes, the impact has been there, and we believe, yes, we might see some momentum, positive momentum, but we have to also deal with a backlog which has been created over the past few months. How fast we can recover that, how fast will be the momentum, these are all things, there are certain factors which we cannot predict because they are related to people and how people will take the vaccines, how much confidence will go to the market. So all these are unpredictable factors. So the certainty will continue, I believe. Maybe we will see lower, maybe we'll see lower volatility, but the uncertainty, I think, will continue for some time.
Himanshu, Muscat Overseas has got a very strong presence across economic sectors in the country, with a very sizable presence in sectors like retail, industries, real estate as well, and of course construction as well. Now, how is the business for you in 2020? As Hassan said, cash flows are important. Muscat Overseas is a strong business group, with very strong foundations in place. What about your verticals? Which verticals were hit the most and which probably did better?
Yeah. First of all, good evening to everyone, to His Excellency and dignitaries, and ladies and gentlemen. It's a really very good question and interesting one. If you, as Mr. Hassan also mentioned, 2020 is quite a challenging year for everybody, and definitely we are also part of that. Which sector suffered more and which sector suffered less? If we say across the sector, all businesses impacted. If we say worst affected, we can tell he has already highlighted the retail sector, the hospitality, tourism business, travel business, real estate. Okay, these are the worst. Some are recovering with a new normal, like some F&B are coming up, retail also some coming up, but definitely not premium retail. So some are, it's coming up, a new normal. But the real estate sector, especially, it will take some time to recover. It has taken a big dent and it will take some time. If you say occupancy has dropped drastically, even the rental rates has dropped, the collections of receivables may be delay, maybe default, even the transactions volume has reduced after all initiative as well. So it will take some time. But definitely it is most, but definitely we are also affected on that factor. Other than that, the continuing projects, we suffered a lot in our projects also. He is also one of the factor, he's involved in our businesses actually. So in the projects actually, but it's a temporary. It's during the lockdown, basically the three major factors, three M's I can say. The money flow, the material flow, and the workmen. So definitely there's an impact of importing materials and sort of materials movement during the lockdown. Even the liquidity was suffered also. Similarly on the the specialized workman movement was a constraint. But after with all constraint, we were able to manage the project. Maybe it is a little bit time overrun, but it was good. So that was a challenge. So there is overall impact, but I cannot say it is all negative, this pandemic. Okay, there are certain positive also, and we believe there is certain positives. If you see, this pandemic has given us a digital transformation, which was there, which is continuing, but definitely it has given a very fast track digital transformation. Now everybody were using that in across the services, and also a lot of meetings are now online, so physical meetings, and very efficient and effective. Similarly, it has given also chance for consolidation. Many businesses are waiting for consolidation, restructuring, cost rationalizations, somebody are doing, and this is giving a real chance, this opportunity for a consolidation. So I believe it is a positive also, because people take a decision on this time, and I think from here there is all upside. And definitely another social, there is a social impact, but positive impact of social thing, which I can say all, I will accept all of the working population, they get a chance to spend time with family. Okay? And at the same time, managing the work and life balance with work from home and very seamless. So overall, definitely it has given a lot of challenge, a lot of learning opportunity, and we have actually learned how to live with this challenge, which definitely will helpful for accepting and managing the new challenges in future.
Sure, absolutely. Fahad, what about your business? You have been, Tibian has been a leader in the real estate services. What were your pain points actually, and how did you cope up with them?
First of all, Akshay and the whole UMS group, I would like to thank you for having me today here and having to hear from me what I have to say about the real estate sector. With regards, I mean, I agree, totally agree with what Mr. Hassan and Humanshu said. And, but at the same time, let's be positive and let's try to always think positive. And I'm sure, inshallah, with the guidance of our government and our majesty, things will pave the way towards success, inshallah. With regards to the pandemic effect on real estate, I think one of the major problems we have faced, and it was a big challenge to deal with, was the articles of law with regards to the relationship between landlords and tenants. In the pandemic peak time, many tenants, they tried their best to, waive rents or defer it. At the same time, landlords as well, they're having their financial obligations also with the financial institutions. So that created some sort of a who's right and who's wrong. And unfortunately, the explanation of these articles were unclear. In fact, also we saw some lawyers in social media and some other places having different opinions about these articles. At the same time, some Shura Council members as well, they were talking about these articles, and everyone had his own opinion without a governing body. Therefore, this created some sort of a chaos, and I think, as far as I'm concerned, we are managing around 1,800 real estate units, and this created a lot of chaos because everyone wanted to take advantage of maybe waiving rent. Therefore, we decided to go ahead and build our own system where we divided the tenants into two categories: commercial tenants and residential tenants. Commercial tenants were dealt in also in three steps or three categories as well, where the ones which have totally affected by the pandemic and were shut down as per the authority instructions, we waived or deferred the rent depending on the nature of their business. And the ones which are partially affected, we waived 50% of their rent. And the ones which were enjoying the pandemic situation, we wanted to increase, but we could not. So anyways, and the residential also, we dealt with it in some methodologies as well. Therefore, I think if this law was crystal clear, maybe the effects of the pandemic in the specifically property management and rental sector could have been a bit easier to deal with. Yeah.
I come to you, Siddharth. We have already listened to three of the panelists talking about it. Yes, there are huge challenges in the market. Of course, there will be sparks as well as we move ahead. Resut has been the largest manufacturer of cement products in the country, and you have a very aggressive policy to become a global player by taking up, mergers, acquisitions, and new investment routes, not just in Oman, but outside as well. Now, what is the rationale behind this kind of aggressive growth strategy for you? Have you also looked at your strategy of growth by slowing down, becoming more rational as well?
I think, good evening, everybody. It's good to be in the physical world before after a long time. Raisud has been aggressive because, this pandemic has helped, and we have seen that our diversification is actually helping us. While in the first few months of pandemic, there was no clarity and there was a lot of, our SIP movement and exports have affected. But later on, we can see that it has helped us in growing our market, even when there is a low in the local market. So what we understand is that if we diversify our basket, so it will be easier for us to manage in one market while the other market is slow. We have seen that in the recent last few months, we have Oman sales in cement has been reduced. However, our exports are doing really well. We are currently supplying to 10 countries across, which actually has helped us in positively during this pandemic. Our sales quantity has grown 15% compared to last year, so which is a good news.
Sure. Khalid, I will come to you now. You are spearheading one of the most ambitious integrated development projects in the country, Khazain Economic City. Under the current environment, what kind of headway you have made during 2020, let's say in terms of the infrastructure work which you are going ahead with that, and also attracting fresh investments?
Thank you, actually. Assalamu alaikum jami'an. It has been, as you said, and I think everyone said, a very challenging year for us. Khazain also faced that similar challenges to everyone. However, I would call it also a year of achievements for us. We have completed our first phase of infrastructure. Despite the challenges, internally we had a lot of mitigations for these challenges. As you said, suppliers, the lockdown, our project in Barka, the contractor in Muscat. However, we proactively worked diligently, the team internally, along with our suppliers. And alhamdulillah, we achieved basically our milestone even ahead of time. And that for us was a big achievement. Our phase 1 is around 5 million square meter of land in terms of infrastructure, with all the infrastructure, roads, 10 kilometers, 22 kilometers of water network, and all of these, I would say, essential infrastructure. Again, that's on the technical side. On the commercial side as well, we started the year with a good, I would say, activity of signing contracts with our first, let's say, regional investor from Saudi Arabia to establish their first manufacturing facility in Khazain. That was in Feb or Jan this year. Of course, the pandemic, we kept working online and similar to all companies. And alhamdulillah, I would also would say positively, we're seeing the market coming back. Over the last, I would say, 3 weeks, 6 weeks, we have been signing deals, I would say, in a weekly basis. And that's local. We have interest from outside as well, especially in certain sectors. And we have some also key projects in the food industry, for example. We have in the auto industry. We have also in light and medium industries. On the food industry, we're seeing really there is a huge interest in the local market and also outside the market. We expanded the concept to host something like what we call a food city, where you have certain industrial-related industries and factories. So I think we're all positive here, and really we are on the ground. And when you see, especially the local investors who have kept their plans quite on hold for quite some time, coming back and putting, we're speaking about 5 million, 10 million, 15 million riyals into a project at this stage, I think that's an excellent positive sentiment in the market. So that's, alhamdulillah, quite challenging, but I think I would call the achievements we did is also on the higher side and positive side, alhamdulillah.
Sure. No, it's really great to know, such positive news coming in from your side, and I'm sure the people who are controlling investments from their business groups, they are sitting on this stage, they're sitting in the audience as well, they are taking cue from that, FDI is also coming in, and other local investors are also investing in the economic city. That's great to know. Let me touch upon the policy reform side. We have seen the Ministry of Housing and Urban Planning and other government bodies as well. They have taken certain measures to support the industry. Now, how far they have been helpful in creating the quick wins for the industry, and also going to help in the mid to long term sustainable growth as well. Maybe we can start with you, Hassan, on this.
I think I will answer this or comment on this base. I'll build my comment based on what Himanshu mentioned. See, the pandemic, it's also been a good time for reflection, whether it's individuals, as he mentioned, whether our companies, whether our countries, whether economies, whether we as a globe overall. As human, there's a time for reflection. Now, Fahad also touched on some challenges they face in their business because of some unclarity of certain regulation, rent-related, etc. Now, I think the key is now how we can operate as a lean in all our aspects. Because carrying a fat with us will not help going forward. Now, when I say that there are, on the positive side, before I address the procedures and the systems and procedures impact, or the point, on the positive side, if you look at the transactions of the real estate, for the past 9 months or 10 months compared to last year, there's only a drop of 8%. So that was a positive indication. I mean, after the lockdown, et cetera, you have only minus 8%. And usually the last quarter of the year, the transactions are at a rapid speed. So which means that hopefully we'll end up the year in a better, in a lower variance. Now saying that, which means there's an appetite in the market. Now if you look at it again on the big economic indicators, banks, the liquidity in the market, in the banks is improving. If you look at the capacity of the lending of the banks with the actual utilization, you see there's a gap for lending. So banks can lend. Yes, the cost of funding did go up, but there is still a space for lending. So that's a positive indicator. So we have an appetite because the transaction says that. Now we also, for example, at Usul, we also market a project which is an ITC, and honestly, our sales in 2020 was higher than 2019. That also gives you, and this is mainly because there are expats who left their jobs during the pandemic, and they would like to invest their savings in the country. So that also gives you that people are positive on the market. However, when we look at all that, remember we are living in a very competitive world. So we have to be very careful in what procedures regulations we would like to bring, the new ones, and how fast we can implement whatever we already had. We have to be very careful in the way we're going to look at the VAT, especially when it comes to real estate, because we have evidence from different markets, whether they are regional, international, that VAT in real estate had a negative impact on the transactions. So some people have used for zero VAT, some of them use a waiver. So each one has its own consequences and impact. So we have to be very careful on that. And I would like to really emphasize from this platform on this, it is very, very important because we have very clear case studies from our neighborhood countries, from the region. We have to have more regulation. We have to speed up our regulation. We have to open investment for corporates, for companies. Today, if you look at the balance sheets of the companies, whether they are public, SOCs, LLCs, they have a lot of cash in their system. Today, we have more than 2 billion cash available in the system, in the banks, in deposits. People would like to invest through companies. So you'll see, as the return profits, why don't we use a real estate as an asset class where return profits can be invested? Why are we only just keeping it for certain people who would like to develop? People would like to, because see, though today the returns in real estate might not be very attractive compared to other investment instruments, whether it's a government bonds, etc., but from the risk diversification and the capital gains, projections, over real estate as asset classes at long term, which means that today, if we're going to be opening up for companies to invest, whether they're local companies, international companies, regional companies, that will bring some momentum in the market. In summary, what I'm trying to say, today, we have a lot of initiatives in the country, whether it's Khazain, whether we have Umran, whether we have Dokum, etc. We have to be careful, we should not replicate. Each one has to have his unique selling proposition, because if we keep, our market is limited, our population is limited. Today, our population is negative in this year. We need to invite investors. We need to, I think, in order for us to have a good diversification for the economy, we need to increase number of people in the economy. Now, which way? I'm not saying that we have to, that's another chapter by itself. But for any economy to be sustainable, for any business to be sustainable, as Peter Drucker always says, business is about creating customer. And even HM, Sultan Haytham, during his National Day speech, he was really focusing on the economy. And that's the factor, because economy is very important. Now, all the countries around the world, they move for the economy, because all of them been impacted by unemployment, impacted by etc. So we have to look at regulations. And honestly, now in my capacity as Oman Real Estate Association's chairman, we are very close in touch with the Ministry of Housing and Urban Planning, and we try to, sort of work closely with them to see how we can bring new regulation, we can activate whatever regulation was there in order for us to have a better sector.
Sure, absolutely. We'll come to the wish list. His Excellency is already here, so maybe we can make notes for him. And in fact, we have got more senior officials from the Ministry of Housing and Urban Planning over here. So we'll come back to the wish list for the next year and forward as well. Let's first try to understand, what are the implications for other business owners in terms of the reforms taken by the ministry and the various government bodies. Fahad, I'll come to you. Have you also seen a spike in terms of ITC properties take off by the expats, as well as an increase in the transactions for high-end properties?
Yes. Yes, Akshay, I would like to first say that the country, according to what they have been announcing lately in terms of relaxation of some regulations, it's very promising. The financial midterm plan also had a whole sector or section about the real estate. It had 4 categories over there. One of it is reducing the transactional fees from 5% to 3%. And I believe, if we see, as Hassan said, there was a lot of increase, or the difference between this year and last year was only 8%. I think this helped a lot also in boosting sales and creating more market, and also allowing for non-Omanis to purchase real estate units on a user-fruct transaction. That is also something promising towards the future. However, we would like to see more ease on these regulations of the user-fruct purchases. But I think that is a door opened and a first step towards attracting FDIs into the country. Real estate is a very tempting, or it's a desirable investment by everyone in the globe. Therefore, opening the doors was a must, and I think that will also help a lot in the future. Of course, there were other points as well in this financial midterm plan, and I think all of it will lead to a more sustainable future. More regulations maybe will be required, and hopefully we'll see the best, inshallah, in the near future and next year.
Sure. Himanshu, I'll come to you. What's your wish list for the 21 and beyond? What kind of regulation changes can really help in terms of supporting the industry in the short term, as well as create a sustainable future for all of us?
Yeah, coming to the regulation, definitely we definitely welcome the changes, new changes which are brought by Minister of Housing and Urban Planning about what Mr. Fahad told about reduction of 5 to 3%, which definitely they increase the liquidity and transaction size and number. But here in the Oman, the issue is currently, the maybe temporary, the demand side is little weak than the supply side. So we have to look at those angles. So definitely this policies, regulation will add more value in going forward. The other what Mr. Fahad also mentioned about the opening up the real estate sector to the foreigners or the expatriates. So that regulation is quite good, but it has need more clarity, maybe extended scope. And along with that, if it can be supported with the banking facilities, so definitely the real estate transaction will increase and it will add the volume of business. So it will have be recorded a coordinated and concentrated approach. And the another new welcoming regulation announcement happened that opening up visa, means 30 days free visa for the 100 citizens, 100 nationals. So that is actually give a real benefit for the tourism, hospitality and retail sector. But how it will be materialized, what clarity it will come, it will yet to see. If that can be on ground, can be implemented well, it will daily give benefit. So clarity and on ground implementation is important. Actually, you have seen last year already you announced about the foreign capital investment law, which is giving the rights to the foreigners to own 100%. It's a definitely very welcoming approach and good, but unfortunately it came in January and pandemic started. So we could not promote well, we could not invite, but that is also, if a ground level it will work, it definitely give huge benefits. And some definitely regulation come, maybe temporary to attract the investor. Definitely in a wish list there are many. I mean, I don't know how much we can tell. Rental reduction, utility cost reduction for the export-oriented business. There are many wish lists are there. So how and where it could be materialized, that we have to see.
Sure, absolutely. I'll come to Hassan and Fahad on this. Like, do you think we need to have better, say, in terms of having regulatory bodies in place for each segment of the business, let's say for real estate services, or let's say for even real estate development as well? Do we need some changes over there? What's your take on that, Hassan? Maybe Fahad can talk about the real estate services sector. Maybe you can talk from the development side.
Actually, it's one chain, whether it's real estate development or real estate services, is all interlinked. Definitely we require that. I think we need to upskill the people who are working on these procedures, because first, to be very honest, real estate is not anymore a registrar for lands or properties. It's an industry by itself. So the industry, as you rightly mentioned, each sector, whether real estate brokerage, property management, facilities management, real estate development, each one has its own regulation, has its own know-how and integrities. Now, the evaluation for that matter as well. So this is very important. I totally agree with you. I mean, I think there was a director general which was formed under the Ministry of Housing 2 or 3 years ago, and that mandate, I think, was given to that. They have started doing that, but I think they need to speed up more because time is not in our favor, you know. And we need to, and I think we don't need to reinvent the wheel, because this industry has been around the world for many years. We just need to bring the regulation, customize them to whatever it's our local needs, and just plug in and play, go ahead. So you don't need to, whether it's the back office support, whether it's a regulation, etc. The most important thing when I was mentioning that we should be lean and fast, let's not reinvent the wheel. Let's move fast. These things are clear and already available.
Fahad, do you have any comment on this?
Yes, I first of all totally agree with Hassan. I mean, it's all interlinked. Development and brokerage is and all other services. We need more fast regulations. When it comes to services in particular, and by now allowing the non-Omanis to come into the country and buy real estate in more zones than it used to be, you know, the foreign investor sees and meets the service provider before anyone else. Therefore, having more regulations that are tightening the screws, you know, a lot of stories that are happening. We hear a lot of fraud. We hear a lot of, you know, projects which are false. It's not there, or people are marketing real estate projects which are not even, which do not exist, maybe. It's just some advertisements and commercials in the, you know, nowadays you cannot stop anyone from putting an ad. If you put regulations in the newspapers and the classic media, the social media and digital online media is always open there to do whatever. Therefore, how do we prevent such actions and such acts from happening is by having a very strong regulation and a regulatory body that can really overlook and oversee what's happening in the market. That is in one arm. In the other, I think the Ministry of Housing and Urban Planning can also, by having a strong regulation, can also offload many of their daily transactions which are given into the public to these categorized real estate service providers. They could be categorized, and not necessarily all of them should have the same list of services that they can provide. It all depends on their internal and operational strength. And the ministry can focus more on governing the real estate industry, on regulating it, on making it stronger and making it a very tempting and attractive industry in Oman. Besides having a beautiful country like Oman, where all investors will be more than happy to come and live here, will be more than happy to come and retire here. Let's have a better regulations and a more stronger framework for the industry, and by that we will grow.
Sure.
I just want to make since the event called also construction, we should not forget construction.
Sure, please go ahead.
See, one of the challenges also we have in construction, there is no any government body which is looking after the construction industry. There's nothing, nobody. So there's no any government body which is really, we can go back to them as construction. Now, during the pandemic, our contracts in Oman, they are neither full FIDIC, neither they're halfway. So it's very pick and choose. A lot of contractors, they have been impacted by EOTs. They did not receive the extension of times. This has created a lot of problems, their cash flows, etc. So I think this is also very important because construction industry, it's a very important industry for any economy. Because the construction industry as a primary industry has a lot of secondary industries where they are trading, they are even real estate. He's complaining about the demand-supply gap between in the rental market, etc. So I think that's something maybe one point if we take from this forum today is that construction industry also needs to be looked at after the pandemic and with more regulation, more better regulation for the industry.
Himanshu, I'm sure you are eager to say something on this. I'm sure I could make out. Do you have any comment on this?
No, means I agree, but what both was saying, in the construction industry, definitely there will be a body which will monitor and also standardize the process. Because if you see here in the construction, the bidding process, the L1 and maybe L5, there is a 70% difference sometime. So actually it should not happen. Ideally, if it is normalized. And actually, in this pandemic situation, many of the contracting businesses and contracting companies are affected in the cash flow issues because of the delay in receivables and everything. So it impacted a lot of projects. So if the construction industry is taken care of, I believe all the industry and everything will be taken care of. Because it's related to everything. It may be industrial development, is industrial construction, whether it's a hospitality, whether it's a residential. So construction is a machine. So we have to manage it well.
Absolutely, we totally agree with on that, because construction sector is the largest contributors in terms of jobs as well in the country. So a lot of implications are there from the social side as well. I'll just take it to a macro level. I'll go to Khalid on this. Like, how do we get the cost of doing business, the ease of doing business better in the country from your experience? What do you recommend?
Again, I think on the challenges on the regulation and what our wish list is there, the panelists here already covered. From the perspective of investment, I think what we need is basically to create investment opportunities. That's key. And connecting the dots between, the regulators, the banking industry, the investment bankers, and basically us as, let's say, I would call it investment destinations. This is the key element in terms of, I would call it creating the investment opportunities. Investors are eager to invest in Oman, either local investors to basically, either expand their investments in Oman, or maybe some of them, you'll be surprised that maybe, they never invested in Oman. Omanis, but never, and I think the business community is well aware of that. Why is that, I think? Because the investment opportunities are not readily available to these investors. From our perspective on the ground, what we're trying to do with the investment experience we had in running basically different investment opportunities on both sides, we try to create these investment opportunities. The other day we were speaking to the association, Real Estate Association, Mr. Fahad, and every player, I would call it, in the market. Why? Because we need to create these opportunities from financial perspective as well as investment destination perspective. Again, as an economic city, again, we're waiting for certain incentives as well from the government, the free zone side. We're waiting for certain approvals on that. So I think it comes back to the point, even if you have a free zone, even if you have a nice location, a strategic location, as long as you keep quiet and be reactive, I think that you will not get anywhere. The key here is basically to be proactive, to create these investment opportunities, and I think cash is there. It's not about cash. And the reality, as I said just now, we're seeing the market coming back, and people also, investors are also planning for the first quarter and next, first half of next year in terms of investment appetite. So that's my take on the market.
Himanshu, I'll come to you on this. We don't have much time left, I guess, but I'm tempted to ask you this question. Khalid was talking about creation of investment opportunities. In your opinion, are we spreading ourselves too thin? Are we trying out too many things? Or we need to focus on certain pockets for developments? We already have examples like Tukum, Salala, and Sohar. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I mean, we all know and understand what is the strength of our nation. We know the strategic location, global connectivity, stable political neutrality, young population, everything we know. But how many of Asian investors or global investors know about this? Are you doing enough to promote it? Are you doing, both the private sector or the public sector, are you doing more? So if it is doing more, then definitely Oman as an investment destination will definitely work. As Mr. Khalid mentioned, definitely we need some kind of attractive proposition for the investors, whether it's the local investors or the foreign investors. Of late, means if you see, if it's a Dukum is a new destination, and it's a building a city, and a beautiful city, and is expandable and one of the unique in this region, and having the excellent facility. But at the same time, if you want to attract investor, we have to give some attractive options in terms of the rental, in terms of the utility aspects, the export-oriented industries which can be competitive in the region, other free zone areas. So if it's a rental, of late what I found in Dukum also, they slightly increased the rental, means what was before now, I believe they should give some consideration to reduce the rental so that investors to come, it cannot be immediately, because this is the period which we should incentivize to investor to come. Okay, there are a lot of policy changes happening, but it can be happen on a fast track, on a concentrated method, means not only government regulation or a private support, even the funding. Currently in Oman, everything is balanced funding. There is nothing called project finance. Everything you need bank guarantee, you need corporate guarantee this. So who is understanding project finance? What government or other investors were lobbying for it actually? Okay, we are developed, we are saying we are developed, but still we are not, because we are not in the part of developing, we are not getting the DFI's funding. But we are quite eligible for DFI funding, which is a long term, and definitely it is cost effective. So if you secure the funding, definitely the investor will take the risk. He bring the ideas, management and everything, but you need a long-term funding which will sustain the businesses in future. Whether it's a Khajan city, if it's a port, all related to port, we can focus on the export-oriented business. Definitely we have a transshipment, ports, well-connected infrastructure, but like Khajan and other places, we can also get into knowledge-based industries. Our young talents are very well versed in technology. They are very, very good. We have seen in our company and other place. If you get into technology-based industry which is not part of the port, it can be give really good growth in the country actually. So there will be concentrated efforts recorded from both government and the private sector, and what are the regulations should be come and enable on the ground? Then everything is possible.
Absolutely, point well taken on this. Gentlemen, we would love to carry on and go on and discussing on this. It's a very important matter. There are various layers to it as well. But unfortunately, we have to get on with the award ceremony now. Thank you very much for your time, and thanks for this informative and very immersive discussion. Now, I'm sure we are taking notes on that, and we will be trying to cover these recommendations through our media channels, including Oman Economic Review, Alam Al-Iqtasad, and BusinessLive.me.com, as well as we'll be compiling these feedbacks and recommendations and sharing with the relevant government bodies as well. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you very much.
Thank you, gentlemen, for the interesting discussion. After some serious discussions, it's now time for the celebrations. Time for the moment we've all been waiting for. Time to rejoice over the achievements of the industry. The awards this evening are aimed at recognizing the overall excellence in delivery of buildings, civil engineering, infrastructure, industrial projects, and real estate developments, along with the allied sectors. Overall, we are going to present 27 awards to the deserving companies, projects, professionals, and industry leaders this evening. The winners have been selected by the editorial board of UMS based on the nominations submitted to the Dossier website, along with few special awards. To start the award ceremony, we request His Excellency Dr. Khalfan Al-Shaili and Mr. Atoya Sharma to kindly come on stage to present the awards. We request the winners to kindly wear the face mask when they come on stage to receive the awards. They may also use the disposable gloves. The first award of this evening is for the Best HSE Initiative. It goes to a company for the initiative Say Hello, Wave Goodbye Plant Safety Training in the Duqm Refinery Project. And the winning company is Douglas OHI. Our next award is for Best Landscaping Company. The winning company is a renowned landscaping service provider offering the full spectrum of landscaping, including design, construction, installation, irrigation, and maintenance. And the winner is El Ausul. Our next award category is for Best EPC Contractor. They are getting this award for the project 400 over 132 kV Qabil Grid Station project for their client Oman Electricity Transmission Company, OETC. And the winner is Larsen and Toubro Oman. The next award category is for Best Construction Contractor. The winning company is getting this award for their work on City Center's Sahar project with a built-up area of 50,000 square meters. And the winner is At-Tasneem. Our next award category is for Best Contractor for Infrastructure Project. The winner is getting this award for their project Dualization of Al-Sharqiyya Expressway Section 2 Part 1 and Infrastructure Facilities for Semail Industrial Estate. And the winner is Larsen and Toubro Oman. Our next award category is for Best MEP Contractor. There is a tie between two companies in this category. Both companies have an excellent track record in offering MEP services to their clients. And the first winner is Bahwan Engineering Company. The second winner of the Best MEP Contractor Award is once again Larsen and Toubro Oman. Congratulations to L&T for scooping 3 awards this evening. And the next award category is Excellence in Acoustic and Vibration Isolation Contracting. The winning company is a leading turnkey solution provider with over 11,000 square meters of floating floors and over 30,000 square meters of acoustic wall lining to its credit. And the winner is Middle East Engineering Services. The next award is for Best Construction Material Concrete Products. The winning company is a pioneer in innovation in the cement products in Oman and a premier supplier of a wide range of cement products with a presence across 19 locations. And the winner is At-Tasneem Cement Products. The next award is for Best Formwork and Scaffolding Solutions. It goes to a company that leads the market with its world-class formwork and scaffolding solutions for a wide array of requirements ranging from buildings to infrastructure projects. And the winner of this award is Duca. The next award is for Excellence in Industry Partnership with Construction and Infrastructure Sector. The winning company is your trusted energy partner with access to global know-how, expertise, and solutions, helping companies in Oman's construction and infrastructure sector stay profitable and sustainable with a reliable supply of made-in-Oman lubricants and solutions. And the winner is Shell Oman Marketing. The next award is for Best Training Initiative. It goes to a company for the initiative Say Hello, Wave Goodbye Plant Safety Training in the Duqm Refinery Project. And the winner is Douglas OHI. Our next award is for Best Interior Design. The winning company has created a modern and inspiring new environment, while encompassing the values of the business of its client and designing the interiors of the head office of Enhance. And the winner of this award is Tal Talati. The next award is for Building the Future in Educational Excellence. It goes to a state-of-the-art premium school campus spanning 25,000 square meters, offering the first of its kind educational experience in Salalah. And the winner is As-Saud Global School Salalah. The award is for the best oil and gas project. The winning project is the most expensive upstream project in Oman. The project was completed with 53 million man-hours without any LTI and about 8,000 people across competencies working during the peak stage of the construction phase. Any guesses? Yes, the winner is Petroleum Development Oman's Rabab Harweel Integrated Project. The next award is for the most promising retail project. It has been one of the most anticipated retail projects in Oman. It made a lot of buzz when it was launched recently. On completion, it will occupy floor space of 26,000 square meters, making it one of the largest stores of its kind in the region, attracting 15,000 customers per day on average. And the winner is IKEA in Oman Avenues Mall. The next award is for the best project design. The winning company has designed a simple and yet functional but iconic base camp facility for the Outward Bound Oman Charitable Organization. And the winner is 23 Degrees North. award is for the best engineer. The winner has provided consultancy services for master planning, design, cost estimation, tendering, and project management for Khaza'in Economic City, as well as the construction of the infrastructure works there. And the winner is Tariq Mohammed Al-Mujaini of Khaza'in Economic City. The next award is for Best Architect. I'm so happy to present this one. There is a tie between two architects for this award. One is a highly accomplished architect, and the other one is one of the fastest rising stars in the architecture field in Oman. Apart from being architects, they have one more thing in common. They both are women. Power to the women. The first winning architect has designed the Outward Bound Oman's head office facility, responding to a complex operational brief by conceiving it as 3 separate parts orientated around a central multi-use courtyard. And the winner is architect Nadia Maqbool of 23 Degrees North. The second winning architect is a highly motivated Omani architect. Her attention to details is impressive, and her work ethos is excellent. She wins the award for creating an architectural icon that will become a hospitality destination for visitors through the project Rayhan Rotana Hotel and Hotel Apartments. And the winner is architect Shada Al-Blushi of Atkins. And now we are going to present 4 awards to engineering consultancy firms in different categories. The first award is for Best Engineering Consultant for a Warehousing Project. The winning company is getting it for the project Warehouse Complex at ROP Nazwa Academy. And the winner is Design Group Engineering Consultants. The award is for Best Engineering Consultant for a Hospitality Project. The winning company is getting it for their excellent work on the project Intercontinental Hotel refurbishment. And the winner is Atkins, member of the SNC Leveling Group. award is for Best Engineering Consultant for a Luxury Project. The winning company is getting the award for the project Majan Lounge at Muscat International Airport. And the winner is F&M Middle East. And the next award is for Best Engineering Consultant for an Infrastructure Project. The winning company is getting the award for the design and supervision of construction of industrial waste treatment facility for the Oman Environmental Services Holding Company BIA. And the winner is Renarde SA and Partners Consulting Engineers. Our next award is Nation Builder Award. The recipient is a regional leader and the largest producer of cement in Oman. For almost 4 decades, it has been a major partner to the success of the city of Salalah and the development of the country. In collaboration with many local and international partners, the winning company provides expertise, focus, and resources required to efficiently deliver solutions to aid the growth of construction across the Middle East. Now, with its high-quality products, strong partnerships, rapid growth, and major acquisitions, the winning company is quickly establishing itself as a strategic partner for growth in the developing world. The winner is Raisut Cement Company. Our next award is for Young Business Leader. The winner is the CEO of MHD Automotive Construction Equipment and Renewable Energy Verticals. He is an accomplished upcoming young businessman. He is a business management graduate from Brunel University, London. He leads a major automotive conglomerate in the region. He conducts himself with the panache and flair of a seasoned veteran hailing from one of the oldest business families in the Sultanate. He is the eldest grandson of late Mohsen Haidar Darwish. He has also completed his master's in Middle Eastern Studies with a distinction from King's College in London. He was instrumental in regaining the market leadership for commercial vehicles with Ashok Leyland in Oman. He envisages a country running on renewable energy RE verticals in the future in line with the vision of Oman 2040. He has also revamped the construction equipment vertical with MHD by providing ample support and direction to brands such as XCMG, Trio, and Ford Trucks. Since his arrival, he has overseen ST Price in sales. As an example, in terms of turnover, MG Cars has seen an incredible rise of 520% from 2019 to date. He continues to lead by example and setting new standards among existing and upcoming business organizations in the region. He continues his journey aloft to inspire young Omani minds. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for our young business leader, Mr. Mohsen Al-Bahrani. And as for our final award of the evening, CEO of the Year, the recipient is the founder and managing director of Design Group Engineering Consultants, DGAC. Under his exemplary leadership, DGEC has emerged as a leading and reliable multidisciplinary architectural engineering consultancy firm, providing a comprehensive range of cutting-edge professional services and implementation of engineering and consulting integrated services in design and project management, including building information modeling, BIM. Maintaining a semblance of normalcy during the initial stages of COVID-19 was indeed daunting. Having the balanced need of its employees, the company continued focusing on its clients, requiring additional hand-holding or increased comfort levels under the rapidly evolving environment. Without sacrificing organizational excellence, the company traversed the difficult patch, coming out unscathed and ensuring organizational survival and success. Today, the company boasts of satisfied clientele base. A few of DGAC iconic projects in Oman include Central Public Health Authority, Muscat, Astor Hospital, 4-star Hotel for ROP, Al-Batina International School Suhar, Royal Opera House Muscat, Royal Opera House Muscat additional 500-seater theater, and many more projects. Please welcome the recipient of the CEO of the Year Award, Mr. Damodar Arkady. Mr. Damodar would like to say a few words to the audience.
Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, and my co-colleagues here. First of all, thank you so much. It's just a privilege to be recognized to this award. Thanks to UMS for facilitating this to us, and we look forward to enhancing ourselves and making sure that we contribute to His Majesty's 2040 vision in a sustainable manner. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency, and Mr. Atolya Sharma for doing the honors. You may take your seats, please. Congratulations to all the winners once again. What a great show it has been. This brings us to the end of the Dossier Constructions Infrastructure Awards and Summit 2020. Thank you all for being such a wonderful audience. Today's evening would have not been such a success without the support and cooperation of our partners and sponsors. Hope you will enjoy the dinner. We look forward to seeing you again in 2021, inshallah, edition of this event. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.